Hey guys, Freddy here. Welcome back to another rules breakdown. This time we're going to be looking at this, Change Stars, which came out from Diesel Shot in 2023. Now this is a science fiction game set in a distant future where humanity's gone out into space and been an offensive conqueror, attacked an alien race, but then a galactic alliance has brought humanity down and helped repurpose our species by providing for all our needs. It's made us a lot less violent and more part of the galactic community. And that has led to a lot of closeness between humanity and other species. It's a really interesting setting. And Change Stars is brilliantly portrayed. Its publishing quality is fantastic. Really, really nice design in it. I especially like the fact that every starship has its own deck plans and that all the star systems are laid out with what planets are in that star system in an easily digestible fashion. Some fantastic stuff in it. But as we go through the rules, as usual, I'll need a character to roll up on. And on page 36, we've got this sample character, Vrishika Bail, a Thren Marine. And that's what we'll be using. Why did I choose that one? Because it was the organic character. The only other sample character is a droid, or an android, and I didn't want to use that one because it seems to have some very, very high stats, which seem out of the ordinary. So instead, I chose this one, which seems a bit more ordinary, for no other reason than that. Anyway, let's have a look at the rules of Change Stars. And so skills. Well, skills are dealt with on page 67, under tests and rolls. And like many other games, you're rolling a bunch of d6s based on your attribute plus your skill. So, having a quick look at this character, we see if we're trying scrutiny, then he's got a scrutiny of 2, and it's based on his cognition of 3, so we'll be rolling 5 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You throw the dice. Now, the rules say that you need a single 6 to succeed. So he's got 1 6 there, so he's succeeding in the task. But additional 6s lead to twists. And twists are dealt with on the next page. Now, combat has its own twists, which we'll come on to when we get there. But we have universal twists here. So if you get a twist, you can spend 1 twist on a given test, plus 1 modifier to future tests, give the success to another creature attempting the same test, unlimited of those, gain additional information, unlimited at Dreamweaver's discretion, look good doing it, complete task faster, conduct the task more covertly, plus 1 edge. Now, edge we'll come on to in a second. If you get 3 twists, then you can do a super twist. Succeed with undeniable style and grace, automatically gaining 1 success the next time you attempt this exact same task. Super twists require 3 successes. Multiple super twists may be executed per test. And of course, combat has its own super twists. So, we get enough twists, and they can earn us edge. Now, edge are extra dice you can roll on any test. They're d6s like ordinary ones, so if you've got 3 edge, you can add 3 extra dice. However, it's not just 6s which count on those. If you roll 1s on those dice, you can get what are called shocks. Shocks are triggered by any of a character's edge dice, showing a result of 1. If you get 1, then you've got level 1 moderate shock, small physical response, -2 to relevant tests, persist until the end of your next turn. If you get 2, lose control of your present surroundings, any held items, -2 to all tests, persist until the end of your next turn. If you get 3, you lose control of yourself entirely. Those who perceive make a resolve test or suffer moderate shock. -2 to all tests, persist up to a full scene, and gain a psychological trauma. See trauma and quotes on page 69. So, by rolling edge dice, you open yourself to getting shocks, which can hurt your character. If you're getting help with the test, you're rolling your attribute plus your skill, plus the person who's helping skill. They add it directly to it. You don't add their attribute. If you're rolling contested tests, then you're both making your dice roll, but the person who's attempting to do the task needs to get 1 more success than the other. The other person's successes will take away from theirs. So they can still get twists, they still get super twists if they get enough successes. but the other person takes away from that. And we've finally got reach. So if you fail a roll, well, you don't get enough successes, you can reach. And you can get extra edge to roll on that. Obviously, that leads to the chance of shock. So reach. Player characters may reach, gaining 1 edge and re-rolling any non-success dice as long as a test did not result in a shot. A test may not be reached more than once. So if you're having problems making a roll, you can re-attempt it, but there's a chance of failing and gaining shock from that. And so initiative, well, it's dealt with in the combat section on page 73. And it's just a matter of rolling your alacrity plus 1d12. And everybody gets to act on descending order. Everybody gets a main and a side action, as well as unlimited free actions. You can take your main action and turn it into a side action if you wanted to do multiple ones of those. So you've got ordinary attacks, reloads, charges, dashes for your main actions. Side actions are draw or stow weapons, aim, prone or stand from prone, shove, withdraw. We've got delayed actions, and free actions are dropping held actions. We've also got reactions. Now, this is where you borrow an action from your next time to do something like block, dodge, etc. You can block and dodge even if you've acted, but it steals your next action. So, for this character, the alacrity is 5. We're rolling a d12. We roll a huge one, so they go in 6. And so combat. Well, combat's dealt with on page 73-74, but basically it's an ordinary skill roll. So you're rolling your attribute plus your skill and trying to get a single 6, they'll get more for twists and super twists. And that's where page 74 comes in, because it details the twists and the super twists. So if you're blocking, first of all, you can get twists and super twists. I really like the super twist on blocking for melee attack, that you can disarm the foe. So not only do you parry their sword as it comes in, you can twirl your sword around and send theirs spinning off into the distance. And lovely little effect you can get for getting a lot of successes. Dodges has its own, including the ability to move or escape, so you can negate opportunity attacks against you. Combat twists, we've got melee ones of knockdown, so you can render a target prone. Lockdown, where basically you're grappling them. Shunt, where you're shoving them back. Or a super twist, you can force a level 1 shock on them. With ballistics, you can deny them cover. Now, cover in the game is extra armor, not extra difficulty to hit. So you roll to hit, and if you get a high enough success, you can deny them those extra points of armor they get from the cover. You can also knock them down, send them prone, do a gouging shot on your super twist, which causes them to bleed, or pin them down, causing them to become suppressed. So this character, going over to them, their alacrity is 5, their ballistics is 4, so they have 9 already. However, weapons also have modifiers. So assuming they're shooting, the pulse rifle has a modifier of 1, so they'll be rolling 10 dice. But if you happen to have 7 edge, you can spend them to get your edge break, and this character's edge break is Deadeye. You gain full success on a ranged attack on a target within double the max range of your weapon, ignoring cover. So you deny them cover automatically by spending less, but you also get all your dice to come up a success. So you would get 10 successes, so 1 to hit plus 3 super twists, if that's what you want. So we're not got any edge in this, we're just going to be rolling normally, so we're rolling 10d6. Throw it. So we've got 1, 2 successes, so he hits, and he has a twist to put in there, assuming that the target's not dodging, and denying us some of that. Oh, speaking of dodge, I realize I haven't been clear on that. Dodging is your maneuver. So alacrity plus maneuver, and rolling, in this character's case, 7 dice. If they're trying to parry, they'll be using their resilience plus melee, exactly the same skill as they'll be using to make a melee attack. Now damage. Now damage is a straight amount from your weapon. So looking at this character, his pulse rifle has damage 4. So he does 4 points of damage. It's as simple as that. Except it's not. Because you roll your armor. So 4 points for any cover you've got, plus whatever armor you're wearing. So this character has 4 points of armor. So if he's behind cover, he'll be rolling 8 dice. If he's not behind cover, he'll be rolling 4 dice. However, the weapon also has armor piercing 5, which takes off directly. So if they were behind cover, they'd be rolling 3 dice. If they're not behind cover, they've lost all 4 points of their armor. So they are taking 4 points of damage in this case, because we weren't including cover in it. So that's how it works. You've got a set amount of damage from your weapon. Armor runs successes to reduce that, but you've got armor piercing, which goes through that armor and reduces the amount of dice you're rolling directly. So the weapon doesn't roll any dice. The defender rolls dice to try and reduce it using whatever armor they've got. So health. Well, health is dealt with in page 70 and is stamina and health. Now your stamina is a soft pool of hit points, which you take and you heal back fairly rapidly. 1 night's rest is enough to heal back your entire stamina, no matter how little or much of it you've lost, or it all comes back in 1 night's rest. Whereas your health takes longer to come back. It takes multiple days to heal back. If you go through your stamina, there's no real negative effects. However, if you go through all your health, then you pick up a wound. So, breaking. When creatures drop to 0 health, they are considered broken and roll on the D12 wound table. Then they make an endurance test. On a failure, they fall unconscious, dropping to 0 edge. Creatures that are broken but still conscious may move at half speed and speak. Synths roll on the synth wound table because they're machines. They can't be bleeding out, they can't get organ damage, but they can get system damage. So a couple of pages further on page 72, we've got the wound tables. Now, your ordinary wounds are things like lacerations, twisted abrasions, and these can take different times, hours, days, weeks. But as you get to the top one, you've got a grievous wound. And grievous wounds are things like internal damage, nerve damage, and you will die unless you're treated, including head trauma, where you get -3 to cognition alacrity, and you have to be saved within 1 turn or you die. Or gruesome end. You meet a gory end, friendly witnesses take a level 2 shock, you're instantly dead. And obviously we've got the synth wound table below, with servo shock, short-circuited, brain fried, limb lost, critical failures, etc. But that's what happens. So you go through your stamina, you go through the health, and then you pick up wounds. And you stand a chance of dying through it. But mainly it will just require somebody to heal you back up. And so advancement. Well, advancement's dealt with on page 35. Advancement spending experience. There's a different section later on for games masters on how much experience to award. But it gives fairly low amounts. Fast track, slow track, extremely difficult campaigns. It's advising to give small amounts. Anyway, experience points may be spent on skill points or talents. Buying a talent costs 5 experience. Buying a skill point costs 3. So it don't matter how high your skill is, you can spend 3 points to increase it. So look at our character here. He's got ballistics of 4. He wants to buy it to 5. That will cost him 3. If he wants to buy it to 6, it will cost him 6 points. 3 points for each point. However, player character skills cannot grow beyond 6. So he can increase that to 6. He can't increase it to 7 or higher. There's also no way of increasing your attributes. But you can buy these talents. And there's trees of those. You can spend 5 experience to pick up a single talent. So your character will pick up lots of beneficial effects rather than just buying up extra dice to roll on skill rolls. It would be buying up their character to do things in a different fashion, which is quite an interesting way of doing character advancement, making them buy basically advantages and disadvantages rather than just skill points. So that's changed stars. And there's a lot to like in there. I really like the twists in skill rolls because it adds to a variety. You're not just getting extra points to do to damage. You're not just getting a higher success. You're getting a variety of options you can do to help other players do things, to give yourself advantage in the future, to be giving yourself edge, which you can spend to activate special abilities. Some really interesting stuff in there. And it really, I think, creates teamwork where people are working together. I might not be succeeding at something, but I'm getting extra points so the next person can succeed. So excellent stuff in there. The wounds where you're going through a soft amount of hit points and then you're taking more serious wounds. So there's a certain amount of damage you can take easily, but you will suffer if you take lots of damage, especially with the wounds, which can affect your character permanently just on a bad dice roll. So it's really an interesting system where your character can develop. They can pick up long-term wounds rather than just hit points, you heal up, you're fine. Your character can have a real history. You know, I took this damage in a previous adventure and I'm suffering from it. I've got a war wound. I've got these abilities I've picked up rather than just having higher skills. It really does lead to characters being a bit more interesting than normal. But anyway, as usual, I think I've been wittering on for quite long enough. So thank you very much for watching. As always, most of all, you look after yourselves, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.